Hello guys, today I'm gonna show you guys how to draw the 3/4 view of the body proportions of an anime girl. So let's get started. First off, we're gonna draw a vertical line, which is gonna be where the character is, and then we're gonna draw a line for the top of the body, top of the head, and then a line for the bottom of the feet. So this is where the height of the character, and we are going to divide this line into 6 sections, or first off in 2 sections. So I'm going to use my hand to take a little bit of measure, and I find out that it's actually very wrong. Should be around there instead. Now let's try again. Pretty alright. So it does not have to be exactly, you don't have to take a ruler to do those measures. It's okay for the eyes to do it because when you have the drawing, it's gonna be, nobody's gonna measure it with a ruler whether you have the proportions correct or not anyway. But we are going to divide the upper half into 3 sections. And the first section is going to be where the head is going to be. And then for the lower half, it's going to be divided into 2. There's no need to divide it into 3 because it's going to be legs anyway, and legs does not have 3 parts. Well, actually they do, but whatever. Now let me just zoom in a little bit into the head, and then I'm going to draw the head. Of course, this is not the topic of the video. We are focusing on the body proportions now, so I'm not going to go into details on what I'm doing, but basically just draw like an egg shape, but it's not exactly an egg shape. I have a video on how to do the 3/4 view of the head of a girl, so make sure you check that one out. And then is the neck, and by the way, this is the line for the eyes, and this is the line for the center of the face, this is the line for the ear. And as you can see, this one is actually in the center of these 2 lines, so it's the center of the of the face height. So and now let's go ahead and do the shoulders and upper body. So the thing about girl, the difference between girl and boys in anime, not just in anime, in real life too, is that girls have narrower shoulder. So trying to make it as narrow as possible. And there's a like a curve or broken line here. That's because girls tend to have a much wider hips, I don't know, than males. So just trying to make it like that. And actually I'm gonna make her a little bit thinner. It's just in general much thicker than how she should have been. Okay, so as you can see, this line is gonna be like almost the center always, and then I can draw a center of the body, which is gonna be actually here. It's gonna be left of it. Why? Because the body has thickness, and this one is going to be on top of the body, so it's not going to be on this line because this line is going right through the body, this line that I've drawn at the beginning of the video. Okay, so we're gonna skip the arms. Actually, I'm gonna draw the breast, which is something I'm terrible at. Still struggle with drawing the breast, giving them some natural look. But if you just give her clothes at the end, it's gonna be alright. Okay, so the belly button on the line for the center of the body, and then these 2 lines is gonna be where the legs is gonna be coming from. Now for the legs, you don't have to draw it in shape, but it's okay as long as you have two rectangles. But if you were to draw her, you know, bare legs, then you might want to have those shapes. By the way, the knee is not going to be on this line. It's going to be a little bit above it. Why? Because we're going to save some space for the feet. Because the thigh and the lower leg is going to have the same length, and then there's going to be space for the foot. Now, as you can see, I'm not actually trying much to give her, those shape of the leg. I've given her some shapes on the other tutorials, if I remember correctly, but I'm just gonna show you that it's okay to just have those two rectangles. I have some shapes there too, but whatever. And as you can see, the 2 feet that I'm drawing now, they are actually not symmetrical. Why? Because this one is pointing towards the camera, because when we stand we have those V shapes in order to get the balance, and that's why this one is pointing more to the left and this one is pointing more to the center, I mean to the camera. And also, as you can see, this one is not in perspective. Actually, the whole drawing is in orthographic, because I'm just trying to show you guys the body proportions, and it's much easier for you guys to see those proportions and comparison and shapes when it's in orthographic. If this one were to be in perspective, this leg will have been much shorter than this leg. Why? Because we're looking at the feet from above, and then this one is going to be behind. But this one isn't orthographic. That means I disregard all the distances objects have from the camera. Okay, enough talking. Let's go ahead and do the arms. Okay, so again, to really simple shapes. Now you can barely see the arm back there, and I'm trying to not add some wideness to the shoulder while adding the arms. Trying to give it, make her as narrow as possible, make her shoulders. So now for the hands, just give her some really simple shape. And again, I've said this many times, this hand is really hard. It's really hard to get the size correct. And how do you know if the size is correct? The best thing is maybe to compare it to the face. That's actually at least what I think. Just around the face, a little bit bigger. All people have different sized hands, and girls tend to have smaller hands than boys. And by the way, also the feet. The feet should also be smaller than the boys' feet for girls. And by the way, if we look at our drawing now, let's give her some collarbone in order to be a little bit more realistic. And we can see that it's pretty okay shaped, pretty good body proportions. Then we can just go ahead. And by the way, I think the breast is a thing that ruins everything. As I've said, I suck at drawing breast. I have not studied them enough. Or should I even study them? I don't know. Nah, but it's okay. Now let's go ahead and do the face of the girl. And on the line for the eyes, I'm actually gonna draw the eyes. But this line is actually for the upper line for the eyes. Why? Because anime people tend to have their eyes lower than where real people have their eyes. So just like that, and actually, yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna switch pencil. This one is okay. I just think that this one is a little bit thick. It's a little bit hard for you guys to see. I mean, for me to draw, you know, the detailed stuff. And the eyebrow should not be touching the edge of the face. Okay, for this tutorial, I'm going to give this girl ponytail. Yes, just trying to give her some variations, because the other two tutorials I gave her, I think I gave her long hair, standard straight long hair, which is probably what you see the most in anime. So I have a video on how to draw the hair of an anime girl, if I remember correctly. I'm gonna check them out. I'm gonna check that out later to see if I have that. If not, I'm probably gonna do a video on that. But it's actually pretty straightforward, because you have the sketch there. You just follow the sketch for the back of the head, and then give her a ponytail. And by the way, this one is a little bit too much. And then a really something like this for the head. This one is too much. That's too much. It's too ugly. Okay, that's it. Ponytail, yeah, pretty alright. I mean, this is not the best ponytail you see every day, but it's acceptable. Maybe I would give her a ribbon in order to hide her ugliness. Yeah, that was better. That was better. I'm sorry I went out of camera, but that was better. Let's just leave it like that. Okay, so for the clothes, I'm actually gonna give her some variations there too. Let's give her a shirt that is casually open. And yes, then just like that. Casually open, like that. And then it goes down to, I don't know where, maybe there. Yeah, let's just say there. And then for this shirt, it's gonna be a little bit thick and not very thick. And it's also gonna be a little bit soft. Yeah, thick and a little bit soft, not very soft. So I have a video on how to draw, clothes for anime, and when a fabric is a little thick, those bumps are also getting a little bit bigger. And also here I'm giving a lot of bumps simply because this place is where people always tend to fold their sleeves up towards up to the elbow, so you see a lot of bumps and creases there. Okay, so this part you can barely see anything, but this part you can see some kind of, I don't know, creases. Those two creases are strange. Let's just leave it like this. Okay, now let's forget about the crease on in the armpit. Like this, like this. Now for the other arm, it's gonna be just a copy of this, but it's in the other direction. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. Now I'm actually gonna lengthen this a little bit. Feel like it's not long enough, and I'm gonna erase those two lines, of course. But for the clothes under it, of course, she's not gonna be naked. There, I'm actually gonna give her a very ordinary t-shirt, something like that, with one or two creases. I don't know, yeah, like this. Pretty alright. Okay, so for the pair of jeans, she's gonna wear a pair of jeans. It's gonna be like this. So all the other tutorials that I have, I think I gave them a pair of jeans, because I can't really think of any, other kind of, clothes for the legs. Right now, I can't really think of anything except for the shorts, but, whatever. It's not like there are many. It's not like there are many different types of things. Oh, inanimate. Maybe I should have given her those kind of schoolgirl skirt. Is that called a skirt? Yes, a skirt. Yeah, but whatever. You learn more from drawing a pair of jeans, I think. I don't know. Maybe I really should have done those skirt, because those skirt you see a lot of times in anime. I kind of regret this now, but whatever. What can you do, guys? Okay, so some creases here and there. Yeah, pretty good. Now this one, the fabric for pair of jeans is that they are really thick. You can see that from the bumps, because they are so large. And also another characteristic is that they also have they are also very hard. So you don't see many creases, but you see some creases simply because they are so thick, so they kind of fold sometimes. Now for the shoes, just draw it on top of the foot, and also make sure that it's a little bit thicker than the foot, so it goes outside the guidelines that you have drawn at the beginning of the video. Gonna give her a sneaker, or running shoes. Like that. Pretty alright. And then of course those laces. The nut for laces. You can't really see anything except for a ring and the line for the lace. But that's it. Now let's go back to our body, and as you can see, there's something lacking, and that's of course a pocket. Gonna give her a pocket. Now for this fold, since there's a fold here, you can draw, because there's a line crossing this thing, you can draw it a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the other line, the line on the other side is gonna be a little bit higher than the line on the left side, just to give the illusion that it's folded on top of the pocket. And for this part, for this side, it's just gonna be a copy of the other side, and then it's just like that. And by the way, try to keep them on the same height. Why is this right on top of the nipple? I don't know why, but whatever. Now for the hands, I'm not gonna go into details on how to draw the hands because I have a video on that. You guys can probably check that one out and then apply those rules and tips to these hands, these two hands. This one is a little bit hard to draw. Okay, so might seem a little bit counterintuitive, but the fingers are actually gonna be pointing towards the center of the body. And yeah, that's probably it. You probably think that this hand is a little bit bigger than this hand, but in reality they're of the same height. That's because this is in orthographic. I've told you many times, in orthographic things are a little bit out of perspective, but the proportions become much more clearer. Because if you want to draw this in perspective, you can just apply the same rules, but just draw the guidelines, perspective lines, accordingly, and everything will be in proportions in the perspective, in the drawing where you are drawing it in perspective. And by the way, if you have noticed, we are done drawing all details, and I'm actually gonna start doing the shading. So first off, I'm gonna add a pupil, iris and stuff to her eyeball. Can't really see anything, it's so small anyway. I'm actually gonna switch to a little bit sharper pencil in order to do the side of the face and stuff like that, because that pencil is 2H, which is pretty weak, to be honest. But this isn't very much better anyway. I think this one is an HB, so it's not much better, but still a little bit better. I know in the other tutorial where I showed you the side view, I didn't go through this process, but what I'm basically doing is that I'm going through the drawing, and then I'm just going to redraw all those weak lines. Actually, I should have redrawn all the lines, but this is just a tutorial. It's not like a finished product or something, because if I were to do a finished product, I would have used a real inking pen, which is gonna be unerasable, not erasable. And in that case, you have to be quite careful on how you do each line. But as you can see here, I'm actually very casually doing it, because this is not a real inking pen, and I can regret and erase it if I want. some buttons. How can I forget buttons? And I know that, you know, I think girls have buttons there. I don't know. I don't really remember which side females have buttons. But you know, I'm gonna go for gender equality. So those buttons are gonna be on the same side. You know, I don't even know why they should be on different sides. If you guys know why, tell me why. But in this society that we live in, I think most people probably support gender equality. And if you really support that, then they should be on the same side. But whatever, let's not get into such sensitive, you know, topics in our videos. So as you can see, I have done some, you know, changes, small changes on where different things are, because if you feel like something is unnatural, it's better to just, you know, change it when you're doing the inking process. I even forgot to do this line, but whatever, now it's pretty okay. And actually I'm gonna be a little bit quicker. It's been 26 minutes already. So I've been a little bit quicker in this video, but I think it's probably because I've not skipped this process, because usually I skip this process of going through the drawing in order to draw all the lines harder. But maybe because I've drawn the lines too weak. But whatever, you know, pretty much done now. I'm sorry guys that I wasted your time, but you know, some people enjoy watching people doing the inking process, and some people actually learn something from it. I don't know if you can learn something from me from when I, you know, redraw the lines. I don't know if you can learn something from it at all, but I'm actually gonna go ahead and do the shading, and it's gonna be, yeah, 2H is pretty okay. So again, black hair. No, I don't have anything against blonde people, just my style. You know, you don't really learn something from leaving out a place to not I mean, by not shading the hair. So why not shade the hair in tutorials if I think it's beautiful? And then let's go ahead and shade the jeans, of course. You know, it's actually a little bit tempting to do, I mean, to give this shirt those squared patterns that you see on some shirt, all those, you know, lines, but it's gonna take a hell lot of time, and it's just gonna be a waste of time, because this is just a tutorial. Maybe you learn something from it, I don't know, but I'm not gonna do that in this tutorial. Don't want to get scolded by my commenters, you know, to tell me that I have to hurry the hell up. Just some lines for the edge of the thing inside. And actually, this one, what colors is it gonna be? I don't know. Let's just leave it like that. Just go ahead and shade the thing inside. Actually, no, whatever. I mean, the shirt can be white. Just gonna leave it white. And actually, I'm going to shade it a little bit next to it. And under the hand. Yes, hand is what it's called. How can I forget what hand is called? Now for the neck, you can see that I have not erased all the sketch lines, but that's probably okay. I don't know, some people hate it. You guys can do it if you want, but it's kind of hard for me to do it now because I should have done it before I did the inking process, the so-called inking process, but I didn't really ink. I just redrawn all the lines harder. I should have done it before I did the redrawing process. By the way, this part is going to be red, so it's also going to be dark. But the hair is going to be much darker if I'm able to do it. So when you're doing the shading, remember to keep even pressure, because you can see this part is a little bit too dark and now I can't regret it. Well, actually I can, but it's going to be really hard. I really don't want to erase anything when I'm doing the shading, because it's really hard to once you have shaded something, it's really hard to erase it and then shade it so that you get the same shade again. It's really hard, so it's best to always try to keep them keep even pressure and keep the shade the same throughout the same part of the body. But by the way guys, we are done, so I hope you guys learned something new, and hope you guys like this video, and please subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this, and I will probably be uploading a video soon. So see you guys next time. Goodbye.